You think that guard has any idea that today's probably his last day breathing air?
Ooh, bacon.
Greetings, tasty morsels. This is Reverse BLT here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching Andor episode 10. Yes, episode 10.
Dementia.
Starring the final arc. This episode is entitled One Way Out. Last episode, Cassian in prison unjustly, which it seems like most prisoners are actually under the Empire, because they're using them for labor to build their secret black projects. They discovered that the promise of eventually getting out is basically a lie now under the Emperor's new initiatives, that people are being released and then just shuffled right back into working on the prison assembly lines. Apparently, one of the groups in the prison that Cassian is in found out about this, and to basically silence them or quell an uprising or something, the guards in the facility basically killed the entire floor. Now, Andy Serkis's supervisor appears to be on board with helping Cassian figure out how to escape. That was the main thing that happened last episode. We still have Luthen trying to get Vel and Cinta to find out where Cassian is so that they can nix him as a loose end. Cinta and Vel have a kind of a wedge that's being driven between them a little bit, it seems, by the demands of their jobs as resistance warriors or operatives. We discovered, big thing we discovered is that Vel is apparently a Mothma.
Incorrect.
She is, I guess, Mon Mothma's cousin. So when Cinta made her little dig about, being a rich girl, pretending to be a rich girl running away from her life or something like that, it was a direct reference to the fact that Vel is a rich girl who some might see as running away from her life and sort of playing at being a rebel. Reminds me actually of another character from another series in that respect, because she also got the same accusations despite being a true believer in her cause as well.
You gonna tell us?
No.
Cyril continues to be interesting, though, as I've said, I'm still waiting for his story to dovetail back in with the overall story, which it actually has, to his credit, has actually started to do, because he has come into contact with Supervisor Miro and is just sort of insinuating himself further and further into what's going on with that. And there also appears to possibly be a creepy sort of love connection starting to develop there. So that gives us, his basically sort of his way back into the overarching narrative, which I assume will bring him back into either conflict with Cassian by the end of the season, or will set up a conflict between them for next season, depending on how this last arc goes. And of course, Cinta is monitoring the people who know Cassian on Ferrix, where Marva is trying to basically, it seems like, trying to go out in a blaze of rebellious glory in her old age. Bix and what's his name, Pac, who she worked for, have both been taken into custody by Miro and subjected to some awful auditory torture, using the dying screams of the children of an, I guess, now extinct alien race to basically just completely break their minds. Just really, the show's really hammering home just how awful and dystopian the Empire really is. Really making the case for the idea that they absolutely did need to be overthrown. And Luthen is being, I think, a little bit more reckless than he should be, because he's really itching to really get this rebellion going proper. Clea basically called him out on it. While she is definitely a moderating influence on him, I don't think that it's going to work. Unfortunately, I definitely think Luthen's dead by the end of this story, at the very least. Whether the end of this part of the story, I don't know. I don't see him surviving this entire story. I also think probably it's unlikely that Vel and Cinta will survive the whole story. I would expect Cinta to go out before Vel, just for the emotional impact. And honestly, I think Cyril might survive the story, but I don't think he will be free at the end of it. I think he will be rotting away in a prison cell somewhere for the rest of his incredibly idealistic, devoted to the Empire life, which will just be the end of his tragic story, you know? Miro, I'm not sure about yet. At the moment, she seems more someone who's just driving the plot forward. She is a very compelling character, but it seems like her story purpose is to drive the antagonism towards Cassian, but not to like really sort of like a character whose life is an exploration point for the world, like say for instance like they're using Cyril at the moment. But that could change, especially with her possibly developing a sort of a personal connection with Cyril, depending on how that goes. So yeah, I got my eye on her, but I'm not entirely sure what'll happen there. We'll see. But anyway, let's find out how they break out of prison, guys, because I imagine that's what this whole episode is going to be about, is them trying to break out of this prison. I expect they'll probably be broken out by the end of it so that we can set up a 2-part conflict for our finale. I don't know what it's going to be revolving around yet, though I think there's going to be stuff happening on Ferrex. That's what I'm going to guess, because Marva, I think, will be the final catalyst for Cassian really going full rebel here. So let's find out.
We're gonna die here, or in the next place. So let's get our heads back in our cells and start figuring this out.
I'm surprised nobody stepped off their platforms to just end it now.
Unidentified ship, dead pilot. We'd want to take a look, wouldn't we? Let's assume Krieger's watching. The least suspicious thing that we could do would be to take an interest.
That is exactly what we will do.
Yeah, I agree with him. If they start changing up Imperial protocol, it'll tip them off. You think that guard has any idea that today's probably his last day breathing air?
Many cultures don't fully appreciate the clarity of the Chandrilan marriage. Even our own people are confused at times. Boundaries can be liberating. They always have value.
Good. We understand each other.
I've always been of the mind that no tradition should be allowed to stand unquestioned or unchallenged.
What will it cost?
My fee?
We assume it's a percentage of funds transferred.
I want no fee. Money means very little to me at this point.
He just wants the prestige of an open relationship with her, open financial relationship.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
I'd like to come back here, at least once.
Oh, I'm sure that's something that can be arranged.
I have a 14-year-old son. I'd like to bring him with me.
Oh, I know where this is going.
You can't be serious.
He wants a marriage.
I'm not asking for betrothal.
Then what are we talking about?
An introduction.
Is that your only offer?
I'm afraid so.
Tay will see you out.
Who knows? Maybe his son's a good kid. She basically would be selling her daughter, though.
Keep it moving! Come on! Pick it up!
Dude, this is what happens when you have a civilization that doesn't have cameras, even though they could.
Stop right there. On program. Hands on your head, eyes front, feet down.
Keep moving!
Now, a new guy is just not... He did not sign up for this.
How's it looking out there? Looks good.
Complacency. Yeah, don't... That's what I said. Don't pause to see what's going on.
Go!
Clear the target! Where you
Oh. It's a shame new guy had to die for this plan to work. Yeah, someone needs to get hold of a weapon. What about the guns they use to fuse the parts? Surely those things have to be like lasers. Oh shit, son. Y'all's fucked now.
We have a situation on 5-2 D.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but these guys are all complicit. Ordinarily, I'd be like, show some mercy. People are just doing their jobs, but these guys know exactly what their job entails.
Kino, come on! We need to hold the level! Let someone else do that. Go! Load the consoles! Keep the doors open!
That's right, floor to floor.
Go!
Well, at least they're not stupid. They come down to check, armed. Yeah, motherfucker.
Bloodthirsty as ever.
One way out! Come on, fight!
Now, how are you getting off planet, though?
This is a facility-wide emergency announcement.
They should be putting shoes on.
We are, at this moment, in control of the facility.
Is that the best you got?
Come on, bro.
Get out of your cells, take charge, and start climbing. They don't have enough guards, and they know it. If we wait until they figure that out, it'll be too late. We will never have a better chance than this. And I would rather die trying to take them down than giving them what they want.
Wow, hearing his own words coming out of someone else's mouth like that.
As we go along, we know that no one outside here knows what's happening.
Nope, they don't even know you exist.
You need to run, climb, kill! You need to help each other. You see someone who's confused, someone who's lost. You get them moving and you keep them moving until we put this place behind us. 5,000 of us. If we can fight half as hard as we've been working, we will be home in no time. One way out! One way out! One way out! One way out! One way out!
You guys got lucky. I would have killed him.
You don't want to mess with him. That's a stone cold killer.
For one thing, there's no guarantee that they can't reactivate the system. Like, for instance, can they drop these bridges? We don't know all the different things they can do. Come on, guys, help each other. Oh, man. Will this work? That looks like a long way down.
What? Did he say?
He can't swim.
Can't swim.
Someone help him. Come on, buddy. Take that leap. Someone just help him. It's a long way to go, even if you can swim. Isn't this one of the supervisors? Someone in the supervisor chamber was working with the rebellion.
First of all, congratulations.
On what?
Your daughter, healthy, beautiful. You must be pleased.
Insurance, huh?
We know that there's a raid planned on the power station at Spellhouse. If Krieger attacks, they'll be waiting.
And if he doesn't, they'll know something's amiss.
Yep.
They'll be slaughtered.
It's 50 men. You're worth more than that.
You have to warn them.
To what end? Ruin everything?
We need heroes, Lonnie, and here you are.
And what do you sacrifice?
I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
That damn Stellan Skarsgård's amazing.
Just stay with me, Lonnie. I need all the heroes I can get.
Damn. And I feel really sorry for where Andy Serkis's character came so close, but condemned because he couldn't swim. How many people made it? Are they really trying to imply that only 2 people made it off that freaking platform? Well, I guess they had to split up in order to maximize their chances of survival, or getting away, I really should say. But man, whew, what an episode. And it looks like we're still continuing the theme of imprisonment. Well, or maybe shift it slightly. Now it's more a theme of sacrifice. Like, what are people willing to give up? What are people giving up in order to make this rebellion happen? Cassian, I think, still hasn't discovered what he's willing to give, though he learned a very important lesson here in this prison, that, you know, that idea of you'd rather die escaping than giving them what they want. Another way of looking at it is you'd rather die, you know, you might even have said it this way, you'd rather die fighting back than giving them what they want. And I think that's going to be the core of his approach to rebellion when he finally does join completely. But the next thing is, what all are you willing to sacrifice? Like, one of my favorite shows ever, Babylon 5, there's a question that gets posed at some point that is one of the codas of the series. It's easy to find something worth dying for. Do you have something worth living for? Those are 2 different ideas, I think, of sacrificing something. You kind of have to give things up for both principles, you know, if that makes sense. It may be something that only makes sense in my own head.
Yes.
To me, it does make sense that being willing to die for a cause and also being willing to live for a purpose both require you to give up something of yourself that's difficult. I think one is just, you know, it's funny, it's like easier to give up your life in a lot of ways, because maybe because there's a finality to it, whereas trying to live for something bigger than you requires a constant rededication. I don't know, I might just be sort of disappearing down a philosophical hole right now. No. I do think, though, that that's what Cassian's going to have to answer, the question of what will he be willing to sacrifice in terms of this rededication? How will he rededicate himself to the cause of rebellion every single day? The way that we saw with this man who works for the ISB having to confront that question, like we saw the aftermath of having answered that question for himself with Luthen, just accepting that he lives every day essentially as a dead man. Powerful episode of television. I could go into breaking down all the scenes, but why bother? What really mattered is the question that we're getting raised now in this final arc of what will you be willing to give in continuing service towards creating a world that's better for other people and in which you may not even be able to participate. What's that old saying? A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they will never sit under. These are some noble fucking people. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Starting to get misty again. As always, if you want to talk about what happens in the final 2 episodes, make sure to use your spoiler tags and spaces to keep everybody from knowing ahead of time what's going to happen. As always, do your best to stay safe and be well, and join me for episodes 11 and 12, because I'm sure this is about to go some very amazing places that are going to just knock me out with their awesomeness. Anyway, guys, thanks again. Yeah, may the force be with you, and bye-bye.
Can't swim!
It's never too early or too late to learn. Swimming is a skill for everyone. Don't take the risk. Learn to swim today. A message proudly brought to you by the YMCA.